This is the Bergara B14 Stoke. New for 2024, it's Bergara's model that they're aiming towards women, children and those that are generally of a smaller stature. It comes with their standard B14 action, which we'll come into in a moment, but I'm going to go through the features on the stock which make it specifically for their target audience of women, children and people of a smaller stature. But I'll also go on to why I think this is possibly going to be one of the biggest selling Bergara models on the market for an entirely different reason. So starting with the stock, it comes with a 12.25 inch length of pull. It comes with 3 adapters or spacers in the box to take that overall length of pull to 13 inches. Now I'm 6'2" and this is just about usable for me in its current configuration, but again I'll come on to that in a short while. Coming forward, it's got a narrow top to the comb, again for those with a smaller bone structure in their face. And that comb height is quite low to allow people, again with smaller stature, to look through a sight mounted on the top of the action here. Now again, coming forward onto the pistol grip, that is quite narrow, it's also quite short, so I've got pretty average size hands for my height, and I could probably do with that being an extra centimetre or 2 longer just to get a more comfortable grip. Likewise, the distance between the pistol grip and the trigger is also shorter to allow for a better trigger pull for people with smaller hands. Again, this is just about usable for me, but it does require me to have a looser grip to be able to get that 90-degree bend in the finger to get the pad of my finger right up against that trigger. Coming forward, it's got a flat underside of the forend and it's got sling studs each end. Now the forend as well is 2 inches shorter than on some of the other models. So some of the other models like the Sporter and the Hunter will have about an extra 2 inches on this forend, and that has been reduced again for people of a smaller stature. Has nice stippling throughout the stock. It's got a nice sort of stippled textured finish, but additional stippling along the pistol grip and along the forend. And obviously, as you can see, it's got the standard Bergara hand painted type style to the stock. This one's obviously in black with some tan flecks on it. Now, the one thing that I've added to this is the Picatinny base here. It doesn't come with this as standard. The Bergara B14 action's obviously quite well documented. There's hundreds of models out there and loads of reviews, but we'll have a quick whistle stop tour of that. It's got a cocking indicator at the rear here for the bolt, so when it's cocked it will show red. And there's a 2-position standard safety. Fire is forward and red, safe is rear and white. That will only function when the action is cocked. It's got a 90-degree bolt throw. This is a shorter bolt handle than you'll find on some of the other models, and a nice smooth action. This does need a little bit of cleaning because it has still got some like residue from oils and stuff that it's obviously been used for shipping, so I do need to give this a quick clean. The magazine is AICS compatible. Depending on which one you order, it will come with either a 7-round AICS compatible magazine, or it will come with a base plate. The trigger is Bergara's performance trigger. This rifle is clear, and that is nice, smooth, crisp, and there's a nice breaking point to that. It is adjustable between 2.2 pounds and 4.4 pounds. Ambi magazine release, and coming forward, like I said, it's drilled and tapped on top for standard Remington 700 cloned and cloned rings and scope bases. Now, all of the models in the B14 Stoke come with a 4.5 contour barrel threaded at the end, 5.8 by 24 for your moderators and muzzle brakes should you wish to use them. And of course it comes with Bergara's sub-MOA guarantee. Now, the reason why I think that these Bergaras are going to sell perhaps, and I wouldn't say more than other models, but a hell of a lot more than just selling to women, children and people of a smaller stature, is because the price point comes in at £750 in the UK, and that makes this the cheapest Bergara model that you can purchase. Now, this stock isn't going to fit everyone, But what it does do is it comes with, as I said, the Bergara B14 Action, which is a Remington 700 clone, and the barrel length options and cartridge options that they are providing with the Stoke, I think is going to make it very popular for people who are just going to rip the barreled action out and put it straight into a chassis or another stock, whether that be for hunting or otherwise. So this one here is a 16.5 inch 223, which again in the UK is perfect sort of length for if you wanted to have a rifle that was going to be in a truck or on the back of a quad bike, strapped to a backpack whilst you're going around hunting for the likes of foxes or smaller deer species like muntjac, and this would be ideal. It also has a 300 blackout in a 16.5 inch, which again, given the short size compactness of this rifle, especially if you were to be running something like an LPVO or a red dot on top, it would make it very good for things like driven boar and other sort of driven or sort of woodland hunting where you perhaps don't need a full-size scope up here to be looking at magnification. You're just looking for something that's very quick and compact to point, and it's still got the weight of the chromoly steel barrel at the front to make it quite pointable. It's not very light, which would lead to people like over traveling or whatever when they're tracking moving targets. They also do this in the other like popular hunting cartridges such as 243, 22 250, 65, 65 PIC, and I believe 308. All of them come in a 20-inch barrel. So again, they're shorter barrels than potentially that you'd find on the other models of the Bergara B14. Certainly, this is, as I said, the cheapest option in their lineup, particularly if you were going to pull it out and put it in a chassis, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if you'd like to get your own Bergara Stoke, whether that's to drop it into a chassis like I'm going to be doing, or whether it's going to be for a youth within your family that you're looking to get into shooting, drop by Jackal Firearms. That's where I got mine from. Alternatively, you can go to any Bergara retailer. Now, I am going to be sticking a scope on top of this, obviously, and dropping it into the chassis, as I've mentioned. That should be here in the next few weeks. Once that's dropped in and we've got the scope mounted and zeroed, we'll do some shooting and accuracy testing, and that will follow in a part 2 of this video. So if you'd want to watch that, hit the subscribe button down below and stay tuned for that. But thanks for watching. Take care.